from the Gold Dome at Santa Ma. It's time for boys high school basketball, the Rev Game of the Week. I'm Jeff Porche, and I'll be joined by the coach, David Swacker, in just a few minutes. Today's matchup features the Grace King Fighting Irish, 1-5 on the season, taking on the Dutchtown Griffins, who are 1-0 on the season. When we come back, we'll get to starting lineups and coaches and the tip-off at the Gold Dome Classic. You are watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Chris's Specialty Foods has been making Cajun meat products for almost 30 years. We do all the prep work so people can have home-cooked meals without spending all day in the kitchen. Everything is done ourselves. With 3 locations in Louisiana and a 4th in Texas, we needed all of them connected to the same system for point of sale and telephone. Rev Business set us up, and it's been a game changer. They have everything as national companies, but with real local service. Rev Business is authentic Louisiana, just like Chris's.
B.T. Chapman and A.J. Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins! Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
The reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
For your car. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants to buy your car. It's fast, easy, and fair. No matter what make, no matter what model, no matter what mileage. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants it. And we'll pay you cash for it, even if you don't buy from us. It's the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales. Cash for your car at the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales.
Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete changeout and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no-obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Welcome back to the Rev Game of the Week. First game on Thursday of the John Hot Rod Williams 42nd Annual Gold Dome Classic. Dutchtown versus Grace King. I'm Jeff Porche, and I'm going to turn it over to the coach, David Swacker. He's going to tell you about the 2 coaches here for tonight's game.
All right, appreciate that, Jeff. Here we are getting started in the basketball season, and always with the start of basketball season, you have a number of semi-tournament games, and tonight we have the second night of the John Hot Rod Williams 42nd Annual Gold Dome Classic. For Grace King, Coach Fisher, in his 12th year at Grace King, second year as the athletic director. And they are the Fighting Irish. And then, if you know anything about Dutchtown boys basketball, for 21 straight years, Pat Hill has been the head coach at Dutchtown High School and has done an outstanding job over those years.
And the Gold Dome, Coach Swack mentioned it's day 2. Let's go through the day 1 results. Those were played yesterday. Dutchtown didn't play yesterday. The games that were played, Denham Springs beat H.L. Bourgeois 68-51. Ponchatoula over Scotlandville 73-61. Sanoma with the big win over Grace King 75-37. And then Catholic High beat East Ascension by a score of 69-56. Now today we have Dutchtown versus Grace King, and I'm going to start by giving you the Dutchtown starting lineup. And so the starting lineup for the Dutchtown Griffins, you have a couple of guards. You got Tyson Norris and Dayton Cruel, 5'10 and 5'11. Gary Dukes, kind of a swing man at 5'10. Lathan Webster, 6'4 forward, and Caleb Hill, 5'11 junior. The two guys that you're going to look out for, I watched them play in their victory over Destrehan on Tuesday, and their two leading scorers are Dayton Cruel. He's the guy from the perimeter, and the kind of the all-around guy inside and outside is Lathan Webster. Those are the two guys to look out for. I talked to Coach Landon Bro, the assistant, before the game. He said also look out for their 6-man number 2, Matthew Thomas. They expect some big things out of him this season. Now I'm going to go over to Swack, and he's going to give us the Grace King line.
You know, for Coach Fisher and the Fighting Irish of Grace King, you know, if you look at this lineup, and you can see why, you know, their scores have been a little bit one-sided. A lot of very young players on the basketball floor. Malcolm Jones, just a sophomore at 5'10". Kyron Milton, another sophomore at 5'10". Jones is number 3. Jones is number 1, and Milton's number 3. Eric Nicholas, he's number 4. He's a senior at 6 foot. Mario Allenlee and his brother Marquise Allenlee, sophomore and a freshman, both at 6'2".
So we are about a minute away from the start of this game. Dutchtown versus Grace King, and we'll get to the opening tip in just a moment. The officials are ready. Both teams are taking off their warm-ups, and Dutchtown will be playing in black tonight. Their black jerseys with purple numbers, and Grace King will be in white. And, of course, if they're Fighting Irish, you got to be wearing green, right, Swack?
Got to be that way.
So we are moments away. Not sure if we're going to get the introduction of the starting lineups or our national anthem. We're about 25 seconds left on the rundown clock, as this is game 1 of the Gold Dome Classic. The other games that are going to be played today are Scotlandville and Denham Springs. Right after this, H.L. Bourgeois against Sanoma, and East Ascension versus Broadmoor. So there's still lots of good basketball to be played tonight at the John Hot Rod Williams 42nd Annual Gold Dome Classic. And we are just about ready for the opening tip between the Griffins and the Fighting Irish, and it'll be Mario Allenlee for Grace King and Lathan Webster for Dutchtown. Webster's their big guy. He can score inside and outside. He had one slam in the game against Destrehan, a 51-46 victory Tuesday night. And Dutchtown wins the tip. And this will be Tyson Norris.
Boy, nice, very outstanding officiating group here. Out of the Baton Rouge Association for 3, a little off the rim.
And that was Cruel a little bit long, and so Grace King will get the rebound, and they will set up with Nicholas.
And you see Pat Hill for years, man-to-man defense, and do an exceptional job.
So this is Marquise Alani, one of the brothers. Over to Alani. Drives the lane, and it goes out of bounds. And it looks like it's going to go off of a Fighting Irish defender, and so it'll be Dutchtown ball, and they'll throw it in to Norris. Norris is wearing number 2. That's what it is right there. So Norris wearing 2 tonight instead of number 5. Long pass down court, and it's out of bounds. And they're trying to get down to Webster.
Well, Dutchtown having a little bit of problems with the press right there. But I think the main thing, Coach Hill just checking it out and wanting to see just how we want to line up.
So the drive into the lane, and the shot is no good. Rebound goes to Norris. That was Nicholas with the shot, and Norris will get it across. Now here's Cruel, bounces it down low, and back to Cruel. Drives the baseline, kicks it out, and there's a long 3. Good by Caleb Hill, and it's 3-0 Griffins.
Well, Hill, nice form on that technique, on that three-pointer.
And a 3-0 lead. Alani has it for Grace King, and they get it over to Mario Alani. Nicholas over to Milton, and the pass down low, stolen by Gary Dukes, and he'll drive. Nice bounce pass, but stripped. And now here's Grace King with a 2-on-1, and the layup is good by Eric Nicholas.
Nicholas right there, nice little feed, and down there, getting it situated, and nice little layup there for 2.
We'll keep it here for this timeout as Grace King calls a timeout. Our score 3-2 with 6:03 left to go in the first quarter. Let's talk about Dutchtown and their season results so far. I mentioned it earlier. I was out at the gym Tuesday night to check them out, and they played Destrehan and came away with the 51-46 victory. It was a very close game. Latham Webster was their leading scorer that night, and Dayton Cruel made 4 threes. And so that's where we would expect their offense to go through tonight, Coach, but neither one of them has scored so far.
Well, here you go. We got a little zone press.
And a turnover.
And not a good pass right there by Hill.
And so inside of 6 minutes, Dutchtown up 3-2 over Grace King. Alani in the backcourt.
Well, Grace King going against some very good competition. Last night having the Santa Maria Gators, it'd be one-sided. And Dutchtown, maybe they're thinking not much different. Little give and go right there, just could not quite complete the pass work.
And just some sloppy passes by Dutchtown so far. That's about the 3rd turnover here tonight. Early on, they have the 3-2 lead. And now Grace King will set up. Alani. Now Jones. And a 3 is long. No good. Rebound Norris. It's 3-on-2. And passes down low to Webster, but nothing to do there. Now they kick it out. Norris has it on the baseline. He'll drive, kick it out. That's Dukes. Back to Norris.
Little zone pressure.
And Cruel with the 3, no good. And the rebound, it's mishandled by Nicholas, and so it'll be Dutchtown possession. And a pass inside to Norris, shoots, no good. Rebound, Marquise Alani. 4:43 left to go.
Well, Dutchtown's getting some shots. Nothing seems to be going in.
Offensive rebound up and no good. And the rebound.
Nicholas right there, a little set shot from 6 feet, and almost went air ball on the thing.
And a trip and a foul. So that's the first foul of the night. And mass substitutions coming in. So we'll have our we'll have 4 new players in, and we'll get to those. As Matthew Thomas, number 5, checking in. Number 3, that's Ryan Terrio. Cruel stays in the lineup. This is number 10. Well, that's actually, some of the numbers are a little bit different, so we're going to have maybe a little bit of trouble figuring out some of these players. Well, 23, Christopher Jones, fouled as he goes up, and he's going to go to the line.
Well, Spikes, number 10, nice little pass underneath there.
Right, that's not Santana Spikes. I know who he is. I'm not sure who is playing at that number. I know it's a little confusing. Number 10, I believe they've had some uniform changes since the beginning of the season, and they may have different road and home numbers at this point. But it's 4-2.
Both teams are hustling, so we're going to have to hustle ourselves here.
Yep. It's still beginning of the season, tournament time early on. And there's a nice drive into the lane. Shot no good. That was Aaron DeNova.
Well, that was a good job right there by Crewell. Not able to get the rebound, but taps it out there to a teammate.
And that's a long 3, no good by Thomas. And Grace King rebounds. This is Malcolm Jones. Over to Alani. And the shot, no good by Alani, and rebound goes to the Griffins with 3:20 left to go. First quarter, 4-2, Griffins lead the Irish. This is Matthew Thomas. And a long shot from Jones, good, inside the arc. So Jones gets his 3rd point of the game.
Nice little jumper there by Jones.
And it's 6-2. And Cruel with the steal. Cruel drives, passes down low, and shot is no good, but the foul.
Good job by Cruel right there on that little bounce pass, looking to the right and flipping it over to the left.
I'm going to take a guess and say that this is 14 Neighbors, perhaps. He's supposed to be wearing number 14 according to our rosters, but again, those things change. Still early on in the season. 6-2 our score. I saw Santana Spikes. He's not dressed out today, so it's definitely not him. 7-2 is our score now. Dutchtown with the lead.
Dutchtown continues with that pressure.
And a shot up, no good. Rebound goes to Dutchtown, Thomas. And the pass over to Cruel. To Thomas. Now to drive inside Terrio. And a long 3 is good by Matthew Thomas. And it's 10-2. Dutchtown on a 7-0 run. And a nice move inside. Shot no good. Offensive rebound, kicks it out. And the 3 is no good, and the rebound goes to Dutchtown.
Well, Jeff, I'll tell you, Grace King is getting shots. They're just not making the shots.
They are. There's a lid on the basket on the other side. And the bounce pass down low to Jones, no good. And the rebound goes to Arendanova. And Grace King has possession, pass inside, and loses control, and it's going to go off of Cruel with 1:41 left before the end of the first quarter. So Arendanova will throw it in, gets it over to Jones. He's guarded by Terrio. Arendanova. And Alani will pass. Now his brother passes to his other brother. And the drive, Jones loses it. Terrio comes up with it, and we're going to have a tie ball. Or did Coach Hill call a timeout? Yes.
Coach Hill called a timeout.
And so.
And
they're going to say they're not going to give him the timeout. I believe they're going to say they called a jump ball at that point, and so the possession arrow will go to Grace King. He tried to get the timeout, but did not get it in time before the whistle.
And 10-2 early in this game.
And the pass was deflected out of bounds. I believe that'll stay Grace King's possession. The other official saying, though, it may be Dutchtown's. And now Thomas will take over, running the point. Terrio to Cruel. Bounce pass to Jones, and he lays it in. So Jones leading the Griffins in scoring as they take a 12-2 lead inside.
Well, I thought Jones might be a little bit too far under that goal.
It looked like
nice little jump hook right there for an easy 2.
Right. He's the other man with size. He's 6'1". You have Lathan Webster at 6'4". You got a couple of other guys, Neighbors and Joshua Lewis at 6'3". There's Terrio. And driving the baseline, there's Jones again. Now he's trapped. Gets it out. Cruel passes up to 3. They may play for the final shot. There's 20 seconds left. That's what they're going to do, up 10.
But Dutchtown doing a good job versus that zone defense.
And so Thomas in and out. Gets it to Terrio. 10 seconds. Now they'll
moving that ball around. Not a lot of dribbling going on.
Thomas, 3. And a bounce pass. He's going to have to put it up. They have a whistle. And no shot, and the first quarter will end. 12-2 is our score, and we'll take a short break. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank Hollis Orthodontics, Cotta Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, SEC Heating and Air, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation, Advantage Therapy, Peak Performance Physical Therapy, for their support of our Griffins Sports Medicine Program.
And we're back, and it's 12-2. It's kind of a sloppy first quarter, but what we can see there is Dutchtown was able to get a few possessions, and Chris Jones did a good job in the final few minutes of the first half as a substitute, getting some points on the board.
And I think both teams were getting shots. Dutchtown, did a pretty decent job of being consistent. Not a lot of offensive rebounds by either team here. And but Grace King just could not buy a bucket versus that pretty tough man-to-man defense that Coach Hill's playing. So, I think that, you really don't have a big man in this game to be working it, inside. But Dutchtown, you see right off the bat.
The 3, and that's good. That's Cruel.
Screen that baseline, and out on that 3-foot three-point shot from the corner.
And now the shot, no good. Arendanova, and the rebound goes to Gary Dukes. And there's Cruel on that perimeter. He has it now up top, will drive, and he traveled. He took an extra step. So 7:31, our score. Griffins 15-2 with the lead right now over Grace King. And so Grace King just, as you said, they can't buy a bucket. Now they go to full court pressure.
Full court pressure, just trying to get turnovers right here.
And a little jab, and it goes out of bounds.
Nice hustle by Dukes right there.
Caleb Hill had a chance at it. Could not come up with it. And now Nicholas will throw it in for the Irish. Pass inside, and underneath the basket, couldn't get it going. And I believe we're going to have a foul on
number 11,
Mario Alani, as he tried to take a swipe at Norris.
And one of our few fouls that have been called so far. And right here.
3 fouls against Grace King, none against Dutchtown. They're going to have to hurry and get it over. They do. This is Hill. Trapped, and Dukes goes into the lane, kicks it out. Hill and a whistle and a travel. And so he made the 3, but it does not count. And so Grace King with possession. Top of the key. Drive, kicks it out. Wide open 3 is good. And it's 15-5 as number 1, Malcolm Jones, scores for the Irish.
Nice job of being open. You know, that shot's been there 4 or 5 times for them, just have not been able to knock it down. Here's a steal.
The strip and the layup, no good. Offensive rebound, though. They've had plenty of chances as they drive the baseline, and a whistle, and the foul will be on Norris.
24, outstanding job on that steal.
Yes. And so Manny Arandanova will throw it in.
I agree with you on that one.
That's what we're going with. Alani. And the drive and the shot goes off the rim, no good. Rebound Hill. Dutchtown having trouble maintaining possession.
Well, you know, Jeff, on the made bucket or anything taken in under the goal going the length of the floor, it's a slow process. It's not a problem with that. And then off of rebounds, it's a fast process. And not thinking they're having much success doing that. And Grace King's doing an outstanding job of moving the ball around. You know, nice motion, but they're just not making any shots.
Off the glass, no good. Another offensive rebound. Grace King is doing a good job getting offensive rebounds. That ball goes out of bounds off of Cruel. It's 15-5, 5:40 left to go before halftime. This is game 1 of day 2 of the John Hot Rod Williams Gold Dome Classic. And it's stolen, and it's stolen back. Drive into the lane, and it's going to be a blocking foul against Norris. He was kind of falling backwards to the ground before contact was made.
Yeah, you're not going to give credit to that. That's good officiating right there. See the other 2 teams arriving, Denham Springs and Scotlandville.
Right, that's game 2. This is a 4-game tournament, or 4-day tournament, 4 games a day, as you're going to have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday action. And, of course, you got the local teams. You've got Santa Maria, and you've got Dutchtown, and you have East Ascension, as it's now 15-6. We'll talk about the other teams as we go along.
Jones was 1 for 2 on those free throws for Grace King. Dukes with a miss at a 3-pointer on the left side.
And Dutchtown's letting Grace King hang around as a 3 is good, and it's 15-9.
And Jones, after 1 for 2 on those free throws, is going to even up that score with 4 points scored.
And the layup missed. And it's a Dutchtown miss and a rebound for Grace King, and they can cut it to perhaps 3, but it's stripped by Norris. Just both teams having trouble with ball handling right now, as we have a whistle and a foul. Dutchtown will throw it in.
That'll be number 1.
So the other teams that are in this tournament, you have Broadmoor, H.L. Bourgeois, Denham Springs, Ponchatoula, Scotlandville, and you also have Catholic High participating in this tournament. So lots of good teams, lots of great basketball is going to be played over the next 3 days here at the Gold Dome Classic, the 42nd annual John Hot Rod Williams Gold Dome Classic. 4.5 minutes. It's 15-9 Griffins. He'll bounce pass down low, and it's stripped. Jones can't do anything with it. And here comes Grace King. And another steal. Whoever's keeping track of the steals is going to have a hard time here tonight. Webster with the ball. And a whistle. And that's going to be the 6th foul, so I believe they're one away from the bonus. Or no, they're going to go to the bonus. No, they're not. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Made a mistake. They're going to throw it in. Kick it out to Cruel. 3. Long. Offensive rebound. Hill. Good.
You know, back in my day, we would holler as soon as we missed that one completely, and we'd say, that's a pass.
Does he get an assist on that one?
You better believe he does. I don't know if you get an offensive rebound when you miss the goal completely.
3.5 minutes, it's 17-9. Cruel with the steal, drives, fake, and out of bounds goes to Dutchtown. Clean strip or block, whatever you want to call it. We have a substitution coming in. That's DeQuan Nicholas for Grace King. He's going to come in and replace Eric Nicholas. And there's a shot, no good. Offensive rebound goes to the floor, and there's going to be a fight for it, and it's going to go to Grace King. Grace King got the last tie ball, but that was because Dutchtown got the ball to open the second quarter.
And, you know, most of these schools, first of all, on the girls' side, you're missing the volleyball, the swimming, and the cross-country girls, and then you're missing the football and cross-country and swimming on the boys' side. And so, you know, I'm not real certain, but both teams look a little bit rusty out here right now. Right. And that's the whole purpose of this, not playing in a tournament-style thing where you're getting a first, second, or third, but trying to play games against good competition and, you know, and not having two-and-done situations.
And we'll have free throws as a foul is called, and Mario Alani is going to shoot. It's a good point you bring up, Coach, because Dutchtown does not have a lot of football players who transfer over to basketball once the season's over. The one the one exception is Gary Dukes, and he's one of the starting 5 for the Griffins. And you know that he's only been out there for maybe a week, and so he hasn't had a lot of practice time with these guys.
It's a big deal. You know, I asked Coach Darnell Lee, how many of you guys, this was after the first round win in the playoffs. I said, how many of you guys are going to play basketball? He said, Coach, a ton of them.
And Jones with the layup miss and a block over the back. Against number 10 for Dutchtown. 2:38 left to go. It's 17-11. Griffins with the lead.
I remember when I was in high school, we got the football players out after they went out of the playoffs. In the first game, we had 45 fouls, and the coach came in and said, we're going to have a real good team, but we got to stop fouling so much.
So Hill gets it over to Jones. Jones shoots, offensive rebound.
Jones
Cole kicks it out, and a 3, no good. Offensive rebound. Hill drives, baseline, and miss. And a fight for the rebound goes out of bounds off of Dutchtown, and so it'll be Grace King possession. So Dutchtown, this game was not expected to be too close, but Grace King is giving them a game, and Dutchtown is basically not being able to pull away here. As another shot, now it's a 4-point lead, 17-13, inside of 2 minutes. So coming up at halftime, we're going to have Coach Uzzi out here for our Sanama, and he's going to talk about the Gold Dome Classic. He's going to talk about his boys, probably talk about the new district as well, as a 3-pointer is good, and Dutchtown expands their lead to 7. So that's number 5, Matthew Thomas, with the 3. 20-13, 90 seconds left to go. And a shot, kind of out of control, rebound Cruel. And ahead of the crowd and lays it in, and that is Thomas.
Nice heads-up pass right there by number 23, Chris Jones. Wide open down the floor there for the easy layup.
And another strip and a steal. And now inside of a minute, 9-point lead. And an NBA three short. And Jones gets the rebound, puts it back and in.
Good job there by Jones on that offensive rebound and getting the ball up into the hoop quickly.
And so there's a shot, good, and it's now a 9-point lead.
Olney.
Yes, Olney. Dutchtown got it up to 11, double digits for the first time. Now it's back to 9, but Jones gets it back to 11 with 12 seconds left to go before halftime. Probably the last shot right here. Olney drives, shoots, no good. Rebound, Cruel. Three-quarter court, long, no good. It's halftime, and it's 26-15. Dutchtown with the lead. We're going to take a break at the half. We're going to talk with Coach Uzzi from Santa Mar, so stay tuned for that. We'll take a break right now. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Chris's Specialty Foods has been making Cajun meat products for almost 30 years. We do all the prep work so people can have home-cooked meals without spending all day in the kitchen. Everything is done ourselves. With 3 locations in Louisiana and a 4th in Texas, we needed all of them connected to the same system for point of sale and telephone. Rev Business set us up, and it's been a game changer. They have everything as national companies, but with real local service. Rev Business is authentic Louisiana, just like Chris's.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins! Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
For your car. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants to buy your car. It's fast, easy, and fair. No matter what make, no matter what model, no matter what mileage. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants it. And we'll pay you cash for it, even if you don't buy from us. It's the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales. Cash for your car at the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales.
Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete changeout and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Back here at Santa Maria High School, the Gold Dome Classic, the Hot Rod, John Hot Rod Williams, 42nd Annual Gold Dome Classic. I have with me Coach Travis Uzzi, the head basketball coach of the Gators. Coach, talk to us a little bit about, who's in the tournament here and just exactly what you're looking at, because it looks like it's a great field.
Yeah, we've got a great field this year. We're really excited when we're putting this stuff together. We have three local teams, Santa Maria, EA, and Dutchtown in this thing. Denham Springs right down the road, Scotlandville, and Grace King from New Orleans came, Ponchatoula from right down the road. We got some really high-caliber games and high-caliber teams and coaching. Yesterday was great. Today's going to be better, and then Friday is going to be really, really good. Got some great matchups as well. So we're excited. It's been, you do this thing so long and you start to build relationships with coaches, and we've developed a good little group of coaches and teams that have come to this thing, and very excited about it.
And I know, just looking at Scotlandville, I was excited to come see them because, it seemed like a lot of Scotlandville teams wasn't fooling around in Louisiana. They were doing a lot of traveling, because I was real interested in seeing, and I think they've won like 10 out of the last 12 or whatever.
Something crazy. Coach Sample is just, he's a fantastic coach, but he's just really a great guy. And they were traveling a little bit. They had a couple big-time nationally ranked guys, Javante Smart, Reese Beekman. So he went out of town a few years, and I just kept on him. I said, look, hey, Coach, whenever you're ready to come back, we want to have you. And he came back last year, and he's back again this year. I'm hoping we keep them coming. They're such a competitive team. They play the right way. They coach the right way. It's fun to watch Coach Sample communicate with his kids, and we learn a lot just by watching him coach. He does a great job.
And speaking about a great job, the job that you're doing here, you said the 20th year?
This is my 10th year.
10th year.
Yeah, 10th year.
10th year.
I'm not that old.
Well,
I am that old.
I think you can go further for me on 20.
Yeah.
But so talk a little bit about your team.
This year we're kind of, I'm not going to say a youth movement. We're a little bit inexperienced movement this year. We have one returning starter, Latavian Scooter Crockett. He's a great kid, great player. He really is the only kid in our program that played significant minutes the last couple years. Garrett Ezel, who's our other senior captain, he's doing a really good job. Really proud of him. But he didn't play a ton last year. He got in spot minutes here and there. And then the rest of the guys, some of them that are playing right now, didn't even dress varsity. But one thing that we have that's a little different than years past is these kids have really bought in and playing together. They understand that if we're going to be a good team, it's not going to be about one kid scoring. It's not going to be about a me. It's going to be more about a we. And we play really well together. Just a good, hard-working group of kids, and very excited about them. We're starting off 4-1 right now, which is a great start for us, and we're hoping to keep this thing going. We know what our challenges are, and we're trying to attack those things, every day in practice and trying to get a little bit better.
Because if you look at this team down on the floor right now, Scotlandville, you got a big kid in there.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. But everybody else looks like your team.
Yeah,
size-wise, and
this is one of the more, they got the big kid, of course, and they got the T-set kid, the quarterback. He's a big kid. But outside of that, but they're scrappy as heck. I mean, they shoot the ball well, they play hard. One thing Scotlandville always does is they defend you. So if you're going to score on them, you're going to earn every point you get.
And last thing right here, Coach, the new district. Everybody, this is how I didn't look at it this way, but everybody, depending on what sport your kid plays, or do you follow, or you may follow all the sports at Santa Maria High School. You wonder about the new district,
right?
And it's pretty obvious. Everybody's thought always goes to football first,
right?
But when you look at this district in every sport, it is about as good as you can ask for all of the coaches
Agreed.
and all of the sports. I mean, it's going to be a fun year to watch really good athletic events.
Absolutely. And, when I got here in Ascension Parish and I was at EA, there was always this talk about going to Livingston and doing this Ascension-Livingston district, and we finally got it. And, the great thing I think about it, and not to take away what we were in before, because those are some competitive situations too for all sports, but I think, like you said, in every single sport, you're looking at a tough way to get through your district. Football, obviously, you watched this year, it was a pretty tough deal. Then baseball, softball, girls basketball. There's some teams that kind of hover over at the top, but you're going to have a big group of competitive teams in there. We're really excited about it. We're excited about the crowds that we're going to get at these games for these kids. And again, I'll reemphasize this, not to say that the last district didn't have it, but this district, we've got some really great coaching. So that brings a challenge in itself every week, every night.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun to watch. And look, your sport right here, to me, Livingston and against Ascension Parish, it's going to be big. And this is right now starting off Dutchtown, which will be in the district.
Right.
Right off the bat. And so it's going to be great to watch, see what happens week in and week out with all the that's a nice little offensive rebound there by 21. And Webster. Coach, thanks a lot, and good job with the tournament organization. Got a good group of officials here, too.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got a great – I said that earlier, great officials, great teams. This thing's set up to be a good night, and hopefully 2 more after that. But thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm back now. Thanks a lot, Coach Uzi, for giving us all that information. As the 3 goes down by number 22, Caleb Hill. And it's 31-17. Dutchtown slowly kind of pulling away now.
Looked like a little travel right there.
Just lost possession, and Hill comes back up with it. And the pass to Webster, stolen and out of bounds.
Good call by the official, coming down with a nice steal, but landing on that baseline.
And so the throw in over to Norris. And now Cruel from the baseline, and he's deadly right there. And it's 34-17.
Coach, that has to work right there. You got Dukes driving to the hole, then pitching it out. And the only way that looks successful is you got to make those 3-pointers.
Well, we're going to have to take a little break right here in the action. We're going to keep it here, obviously. But there was a collision between a couple of guys on the other side of the court, and Norris came out, and looked like he got a shot to the ribs. And so he's going to have to step out, and they're going to bring in Matthew Thomas. There was I think it was the big guy, Arendanova, who had the collision with Norris, and he won that battle. But no whistle, and he's out the game now, and Grace King has possession, down 17.
Well, Coach Hill still in this thing called man-to-man, and his kids do an excellent job with it. Putting a little pressure on those passes.
And a shot off balance, rebound, goes to Cruel and trying to get it down low to Dukes, and Dukes' pass is stolen.
Boy, very good job there by number 4, Nicholas. Boy, outstanding job. Because he could feel what was happening behind him. And instead of attacking that ball, he kind of eased back and made an easy steal.
Arena de Nova will go to the line for the +1. That's a 34-19 and a foul. And so now we have a substitution. Dutchtown going big. Christopher Jones is in the game now. He had a nice run at the end of the first quarter. Got Dutchtown some valuable points. Free throw no good. Cruel rebound. This is their big lineup with Jones and Webster. That's their 2 big men. And they go outside and no good. Cruel misses. 5:22 left to go in the third. 34-19 Griffins. Porche and Swack with you. Dutchtown is going to be busy in December. We're going to talk about their schedule coming up. It's tournament season, as you mentioned. District doesn't come till January.
And most of the time when you say tournaments, you're talking about Thanksgiving holidays, got tournaments, and there's a nice bucket there by number 1.
Malcolm Jones. 12-point game.
And then I like that little fake over the top, and they'd come under with that bounce pass sometimes.
Cruel kicks it out to Hill. 3, no good. Jones can't come up with the rebound, and it's Grace King possession.
There's a lot of teams to play over the Christmas break.
Right, and there's a lot of games right now as a layup goes in, and it's a 10-point game. Game 2 is coming up in about half an hour from now, most likely, as a layup goes for Jones. The game tomorrow, or excuse me, the game coming up in the Gold Dome Classic is Scotlandville and Denham Springs, and you saw them both with little warm-ups between the games. Denham Springs and Walker, I know you talked about it. That's going to be some tough district games this season, Coach.
And I'm going to just say this about Grace King. They've been handled pretty easily,
right?
In their schedule, but I have seen nothing versus a man-to-man. No one is not moving at all. There is movement all over this floor, and it has created some fairly easy shots. They're shooting the ball better than they were in the first quarter. They shot the ball a lot better in the second quarter. So, I see some possibilities out of Grace King against that man-to-man defense at Dutchtown, because they really attack you very hard as far as trying to defend the pass to your man, doing an outstanding job.
Right. They just don't have any playmakers, no consistent scoring on their roster right now. As the second free throw goes in for Jones, this is a much better performance than last night's performance for Grace King. They lost 75-37 to Sanama in night 1 of the Gold Dome Classic. As we said, as it goes out of bounds to Dutchtown, this is game 1 of day 2. So you have Grace King and Dutchtown at 4 o'clock. At 5:20 approximately, Scotlandville and Denham Springs. At 6:40, H.L. Bourgeois at Sanama, and kind of the feature game. And then at 8 o'clock, you got EA and Broadmoor. That's going to be a fun one as well. So that's some really good games tonight here at the Gold Dome Classic, as the shot is good from Christopher Jones. He has to be leading the Griffins in scoring here tonight. And a steal, Hill, and there's Webster.
I tell you what, unselfish basketball, I think, is going to win games for you.
Grace King is 1-5, in danger of dropping to 1-6 as another layup goes in.
Coach Fisher looking for a sub to come in.
And this is where they they hadn't been able to handle the pressure very well. As you see a turnover, they had a shot of 3-on-1 and just could not handle it. That's Anthony Sinopoli. And so with 2:32 left to go, Dutchtown pulling away, up 19. Dutchtown up 19, but they haven't looked too impressive here tonight compared to maybe what we were expecting here tonight. They've had some trouble with the turnovers and some possessions and passes and things like that.
I think the word, and this is just kind of what basketball is all about in this early tournament phase.
Right.
They just hadn't been consistent. They've done their lack of effort is not there. They have worked extremely hard. Both teams have.
No, and this is, we got to bring up the transition too, because they're all basically their guard lineup is brand new. Because last year you had Deron McZeal at point guard. He's moved over to EA. And then you lost Steven Aguilar, and you lost Brian Norris. That was their entire backcourt last year. Now you got Tyson Norris, who's Brian's brother now running the point, and Matthew Thomas is also a young guy. He's a sophomore. So when you don't have those ball handlers yet, it's going to take some time for them to kind of come into their own, and I think that's what we're seeing tonight. This Dutchtown team is going to be much better as the year goes on once they get some chemistry.
Well, the big thing is that I believe is that they are going to, because of their hustle and their defensive effort, they're going to play everybody tough.
And there's a shot and stripped as Thomas gets blocked and goes coast to coast and lays it in. Marquise Olney, just a freshman, and it's 44-26. 1:50 left to go in the third quarter. Still got a quarter left to play. And so now kicking it out, and a three, short. Fight for the rebound, goes out of bounds. They're gonna go white ball. So Dutchtown coming up, if you want to take a look at some of their Gold Dome Classic games that they're gonna play. Of course, this is their first game. Didn't play yesterday. Today they play Grace King. Tomorrow they're going to get Broadmoor, and then on the third they're going to get Ponchatoula. And
Coach Yuzu's talking about Ponchatoula being very good basketball team.
They gave it to Scotlandville last night. That kind of shocked me. So that's going to be a tough one for sure. It's a three from Cruel, no good. And rebound, Arana DeNova. And so, shot no good. Nobody there to rebound, so an easy one for Hill.
Under a minute.
So Caleb Hill setting up 45 seconds. And another three attempt is no good for Thomas, and it goes out of bounds. Kind of a little different than what we saw Tuesday night when I watched Dutchtown play Destrehan. As you see a little better performance from Matthew Thomas and Christopher Jones here. They're kind of leading the way, and Cruel has a couple of points, but we haven't seen a lot from Latham Webster here today, who a lot of people think is basically their best player, as we're down to 17 seconds and the pass is stripped. And we're down to 10.
Well, I think Dutchtown has a type team that you may have, I think each night somebody's going to get a little warm or get a little hot, and it might be a different person leading the team
right
each and every game.
Ryan Terrio got his shot blocked, could not get his rebound off. And so at the end of the third quarter, we're going to keep it here as our score is 44-26, Dutchtown with the lead. And we're going to look at Dutchtown's schedule. First, we could look at the Gold Dome games. We talked about that a moment ago, but if you want to look at them on screen, we got them right there. Grace King is the game today. Then tomorrow is Broadmoor. Then the third, that is against Ponchatoula, and that's going to be a really tough one. You mentioned that. We talked about how they beat Scotlandville, and that's not easy to do. And then they're going to be playing tournament ball pretty much all through December, as you're going to have the EA Spartan Classic. We're going to be out there next week covering the East Ascension Donaldsonville game. And then they're going to go to St. James for the St. James Wildcat Classic. And then they're going to go, after Christmas, over to Plaquemine. They're going to cross the river, and they're going to play in the Plaquemine Green Devil Classic. So a lot of tournament basketball coming up for the Griffins.
And Jeff, over the years, in a number of years, basketball in Baton Rouge, the Baton Rouge area, has been unbelievable.
Yes.
There's a number of very, very good teams. Of course, Scotlandville is the team, but there's a number of teams that have done really well in the different classifications.
I believe Grace King probably traveled the farthest to get here, coming from the New Orleans area. Has a shot up, and nice move by Arana DeNova.
And, you saw that going in. I like it, using the left-hander there.
You got a couple of teams that did a little bit of traveling, as this is about an hour trip. H.L. Bourgeois traveled about an hour to get here, and then everybody else is pretty much in the vicinity. As the score now 44-28. So right now, Grace King is 1-5 on the season. Their one win comes against Kenner Discovery as the shot goes in.
Well, nice little jumper in traffic right there.
So you have the one win for Grace King, and then you've got 5 losses. They've lost to Holy Cross. They've lost to Ben Franklin. They've lost to Mandeville, Maurepas, and then Santa Ma last night in the Gold Dome Classic. And now Cruel for a 3, no good. And rebound goes out off of Grace King. You see another player coming in the game that we haven't talked about yet, Joshua Lewis, 6'3" sophomore. He's a big-bodied player for the Griffins, and he's getting his first action of the night. 3, good. He can hit that perimeter really well, Coach.
And if you notice at the beginning, in the first quarter, I don't know if he even scored a point in the first quarter.
I think he made a free throw or something like that.
But he took about maybe 4 3-pointers, and Coach Hill's hung with him. He's hung in there with himself, and probably one of their leading scorers here tonight.
So while this is happening and mentioning Cruel right there, let's talk about the game of the week schedule that's coming up in the upcoming weeks. We got the Spartan Classic, and we're definitely going to be covering Donaldsonville and East Ascension. That's a Thursday night game. So we're going to be over at the EA Gym on Thursday night, and then on the following week, on Wednesday, I believe it is, the 14th, you're going to have the soccer match between Vanderbilt Catholic and Dutchtown, and that's going to be a great one to
And that'll be girls soccer.
Absolutely, girls soccer. Those are 2 great programs right there.
Very much so, Vanderbilt, because have some relatives down at that school. When
so do I.
Yeah, that's right. That's your alum.
Wasn't my alma mater, but I did go there for several years.
And so that's going to be interesting to see what happens because I know one thing, the soccer people are getting now where they're playing each other like St. Paul's and Santa Ma in the boys' ranks and stuff like this. They're playing each other consistently, trying to get better.
It's Dutchtown possession after the charge by Arana Nova, and the layup no good, missed by Lewis.
Well, Lewis said, I can't believe
that's a travel.
This is like a layup right here, and just could not get it to roll in.
Right, he's still a young guy. Still getting used to varsity action. So our score now 49-28, so they're up by 3 touchdowns.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
It's a football score that we have up there. 6:28 left to go in this game. And a 3 from Cruel. This time he misses long. Rebound goes to Sinopoli for Grace King, and not looking for the pass. We got some subs in the game, as that's DeQuan Nicholas, who was supposed to be the recipient of the pass, but had a little lack of communication, and the point guard said, yeah, that was my bad. Now driving and kicking out, 3, good, and that's Matthew Thomas. So Coach Landon Bro said, watch out for Landon Thomas.
Seen that 2 or 3 times tonight.
He was right.
Drive that bucket, dish it out.
Now kicks it out to Norris. No good, long rebound and taken back. And this is Norris, kicks it down.
The big man going under.
And no foul. Joshua Lewis misses, blocked from behind.
Well, Lewis is a good-looking kid out there.
Yeah, he's got a good frame for being a big man in basketball. And the layup is
beautiful
in.
job right there.
Mario Alani, the scorer for the
Came around, looked like all he had to do was shoot that right-handed layup, but decided to flip it in with his left hand when he got a little bit too much under the goal.
So again, the game 1 results, we're in day 2 of the Gold Dome Classic, the John Hot Rod Williams 42nd Annual Gold Dome Classic. Again, those scores from last night. Dutchtown didn't play. This is their first of 3 games. Denham Springs beat H.L. Bourgeois 68-51. Ponchatoula, that was the game we were talking about. Scotlandville, they beat them 73-61. Santa Ma wins 75-37 in that one, and Catholic High beat East Ascension 69-56. I want to point out a couple of those. The Ponchatoula win, like we talked about, that was really impressive, and Denham Springs had a nice victory against H.L. Bourgeois, and that's a team that a lot of people probably want to look at around here. Some people might want to stay for the next game and scout the district competition, Coach.
Well, there's no doubt, because I think you're going to have you have some very good teams, and there's no doubt maybe the Catholic people might want to watch the Scotlandville people, because that's going to be in the same district, and then the Dutchtown and East Ascension people might want to watch the Denham Springs folks, because that's going to be in the same district.
And like we said earlier, adding Walker and Denham to a district is doing the Ascension Parish teams no favors, as Cruel passes out of bounds. And in football, it seemed like the Ascension teams kind of got an advantage because they got Catholic High out of the district, and so they might have been happy about that. But in basketball, you're getting Walker and Denham coming in, and so it's kind of a trade-off. The football district maybe not as strong, but the baseball and basketball districts are really strong, as the layup goes in by the big man, Joshua Lewis.
Lewis says, I've been on this side 3 times and hadn't made that shot. I'm going to get me one in there, and did a good job right there. Nice pass in there
And
on the assist.
Got him with the body right there. Malcolm Jones commits the foul. Caleb Hill will go to the line, shoot 2. It's 54-30. So in the district, of course, when you look at what you would expect from the district, Walker, of course, is going to be maybe the team to beat in the district, you would expect, because they put together one heck of a program. East Ascension.
I think they won state a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
They did. East Ascension, of course, has had a really good team. They've won the district in the past. As a putback, no good. Norris now has it, kicks it out. And
good job of
3,
passing that
good.
ball around there.
And so the rebound and a whistle. So to finish my thought, of course, Denham Springs is going to be a really good team. East Ascension, as we mentioned, has won 5A, so they're going to be one of the favorites. Santa Ma looked really good last night. They really beat Grace King with a really nice victory, as kind of have a turnover fest here for a moment. And
Jeff, you'll find each and every week, a lot of teams are going to be matched up very well, and what's going to happen is, who's going to have the better game?
Right.
Who's going to do the best job of shooting free throws that night?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to stay out of foul trouble? Who's going to make free throws? So those things are going to be interesting. It's not like you're going to be playing somebody that is that much better than you.
Right.
Most of the teams will be well matched up.
And when you look at Dutchtown and where they kind of stand in that district, one maybe comparing to last year's team. Last year's team, of course, had the strong perimeter game and some good guard play, and they made the postseason. They made the playoffs, lost in the first round. And you would think that this team's going to be kind of similar to that once they kind of find their footing, because right now, of course, they're having a little trouble with ball handling and possession and turnovers right now. That's going to come around with some experience. But this is a team that could compete for a playoff spot if everything goes right for them this year.
Well, you have that playoff system that's going to happen just like it did in football, unless that gets voted down in the January meetings. But, also, Jeff, that you have to – you look at Gary Dukes, looks pretty decent out there. He doesn't look like he's has an issue with conditioning, and you say, well, he just got through playing football. But this basketball running and football running's a completely different thing. So, you'll find as teams gradually get in better condition, you're going to make fewer mistakes and play a lot better. And then you get an idea of who you guys are and who's going to be your 6th, 7th, and 8th guy.
So some turnovers here, and just lots of turnovers here tonight. That's one of the big takeaways from the game, man. That was a travel. So another turnover. And this is why you play these games early, to get that experience. And so once you get to district play and you play the games that really matter, that's when you can improve. As Dutchtown's still going to most likely come up with a win here and move to 2-0 on the season. And a win's a win. And off balance, nearly gets it to go in, and we're going to have a foul. And it looks like Alani is going to go to the line. Number 11, Mario Alani.
One of the few times we have 2 shots tonight.
One of the games I'm going to be interested in, Coach, is I'm looking down the line. Friday here at the Gold Dome Classic, you're going to have Santa Monica and Denham Springs playing each other. And that's one that a lot of people are going to be interested in. That Ponchatoula team that's supposed to be so good, they're playing EA that night. That's Friday night. So those are 2 feature games back to back. And then on Saturday, you got Santa Monica's going to play Scotlandville. So Santa Monica's going to know where they stand pretty quickly over the next 3 days, Coach.
Yep, and you get an idea because you never know who you're going to end up with in the playoffs. So it won't be 30. It will be 32 teams if I'm not mistaken in basketball.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far down the road yet. That was Caleb Hill with the 3, as it's now a 25-point lead for the Griffins. And nice, nothing but net from Manny Arenado-Nova.
Well, when you talk about this tournament, this has been over the years a very good tournament. I know the Booster Club does an outstanding job of preparing some food for the kids.
And the shot short.
And the coaches and the officials.
And Grace King trying to keep this respectable as it's stolen. Norris has it. Very grateful to Grace King for their cooperation here tonight, as Coach Fisher was very helpful to our producer Lyle Boudreau, getting us a starting lineup, getting some information about the team, and we're told that there are several people from that area that are watching here tonight. So, thanks for joining us here tonight, and we're glad to have you. But as far as Grace King goes, of course, we talked about that earlier. They're 1-5, and they've lost 4 in a row. They had that win against Kenner Discovery, but they had the loss last night against Santa Monica, and so they're probably going to drop to 0-6 after this game. But we're glad to have them, and glad to have you in the audience here tonight.
And you see this Gold Dome Classic. They a couple of years ago they changed the name to the Hot Rod Williams, John Hot Rod Williams Gold Dome Classic. And Hot Rod was a player here in the, I'm going to say, late 70s, early 80s.
That's exactly right.
And very good player. Went down and played at Tulane and played a number of years in the NBA here in the last couple of years. Lost his life. He's a Sorrento resident. And you would see him, I know during the NBA strike one year, he was at every one of our football games. So you can imagine being an NBA player, that NBA season just completely conflicts with high school football.
Yeah.
And, got to talk to him a number of times. And he was, he would be holding the gator up above his head, running around in the stands, really having a good time. Kids came this way. Mm-hmm. And ended up having a very good NBA career. So they named it after him. They, I think, Hot Rod, a 6'10" guy.
Yeah.
At one time, his contract that he signed in the NBA was the richest contract in the NBA.
Right.
And that's during the Michael Jordan years and stuff like this.
And I remember him back with the Cavaliers. That's where he started out his career. And the Cavaliers were always the worst franchise in the NBA. And then they had him, and they got Brad Daugherty, and they got Mark Price. And that was the one time before LeBron James that the Cavaliers were relevant. And he was a really good player and a big contributor to that team. I remember those days very well. It's inside of a minute.
So the late, not the late coach, but George Huey, the past coach here at the Santa Maula Gators basketball, started out this thing, and it has turned in over the years to be an outstanding tournament. A newcomer in our district, Troy Green, is going to be the new basketball coach at East Ascension, and he's from this area. And so we're going to be interested to see how Coach Green does. We're going to check that out next week.
Yeah, at the Spartan Classic.
Boy, you know, when we talk about Pat Hill, 21 years, and then I tried to make Coach Usey feel extremely old, saying the 20th year, but it's only his 10th year, and is doing an outstanding job, has an outstanding record. And we just kind of let you watch the closing minute of that as we told you a little history of the Gold Dome Classic.
And our final score, Dutchtown wins over Grace King 57-34. We're going to take a break and wrap things up in just a moment. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Chris's Specialty Foods has been making Cajun meat products for almost 30 years. We do all the prep work so people can have home-cooked meals without spending all day in the kitchen. Everything is done ourselves. With 3 locations in Louisiana and a 4th in Texas, we needed all of them connected to the same system for point of sale and telephone. Rev Business set us up, and it's been a game changer. They have everything as national companies, but with real local service. Rev Business is authentic Louisiana, just like Chris's.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins! Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
For your car. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants to buy your car. It's fast, easy, and fair. No matter what make, no matter what model, no matter what mileage. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants it. And we'll pay you cash for it, even if you don't buy from us. It's the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales. Cash for your car at the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales.
Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete change-out and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no-obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Welcome back as we wrap up our Rev Game of the Week from the John Hot Rod Williams 42nd Annual Gold Dome Classic. Dutchtown wins the first game of day 2 over Grace King by a score of 57-34. Coach, any final thoughts about what you saw here tonight?
Yeah, I would like to be able to look ahead, but I'm going to just envision something right here. You have all 10th graders and a freshman for Grace King. You know, and it's pretty obvious talent-wise, maybe they're lacking a little bit. Hustle-wise, not an issue at all. And so I'm just kind of wondering just exactly because, you know, you never saw them because, you know, it's pretty obvious they've been getting hammered pretty good in all these games that they're playing. You never saw them quit. And, you know, that's a tribute to Coach Fisher and his coaching staff and maybe to their players also. So I'm going to be interested to see just what happens down the road for them. And then the same thing also for Dutchtown. Not a real talented team, but, you know, as we talked, you know, during the break, that's exactly what was happening to their football team early in the year.
Yep.
And their defense was, you know, was holding the teams to, you know, I think we discussed that in one of our games, around 7 points, you know, a game. And so I see outstanding defense right here by Dutchtown, and it's going to be interesting to see just exactly what happens, who's going to come alive offensively for Dutchtown, and who's going to be the person to step up to help carry this team to another level.
And just like football, this season is 2 months old, so what you see here is not what you're going to see at the end of January and beginning of February. But Dutchtown is happy to have the win. They move to 2-0, and Grace King falls to 1-6. Next week, we will be over at East Ascension for the Spartan Classic, which will be played next week. We're going to get the Thursday game between East Ascension, the host team, and Donaldsonville for an Ascension Parish matchup. And so stay tuned for that next week. And then in 2 weeks, we have girls soccer, Vanderbilt versus Dutchtown. And so that's our schedule coming up. Again, Dutchtown wins 57-34, our final score. Thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. For Coach Swack, I'm Jeff Porche. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching the Rev Game of the Week.